this idea of making it over to some transformational moment from who you were to who you might be now. You know, in a way, it's like a second puberty. You know, society understands that there's a time when the child fades away and the adolescent comes forward. But we're just beginning to understand that there's a very similar moment that occurs when the young adult fades away and something else can come forward, but we have to have a context for that. We're reframing the conversation. It's very exciting, but it's also very important because outside that conversation there's depression, there is crisis, there's trauma.
Well, tonight we're taking a whole new look at midlife crisis, Marianne, and saying, you know what, it's not the old, oh my God, I'm 38 or I'm 45 or I'm 52 and I got to get a young girlfriend or a young boyfriend or a sports car. It's like, wait a second. If you don't love what you're doing, if you think it's too late, on and on and on, there's huge opportunities at this moment in time.
We're changing it from a crisis to a process, and we are realizing that, you know, sometimes one of the things that keeps people in this sort of depressed state and this crisis state is feeling I failed in the past, I didn't do enough in the past, now they won't want me, I'm too old, they won't hire me. But the new conversation is, did I learn from my failures as well as my successes? Am I a better person? Did I get wiser? Am I more mature? Am I more responsible? And out of that, I'm not looking to the world to give me a job. I'm recognizing who I am and the sort of magnificence of growing more mature. And then out of that, you magnetize to yourself new career, new opportunities, new relationships. It's exciting if we allow it to be.
I said, Paula, you can't keep on like this. When I was 40 years old, my husband moved me across the state to Savannah, Georgia, from Albany to Savannah, and I was devastated. I couldn't get my car and drive home like anybody else. I was just stuck there, and I finally said, you know, Paula, you come from better than this. You're gonna die.
At 42, with $200, with a rocky road behind you, you start a whole new life that creates an empire. I mean,
it's my second birthday.
But you're almost turning 40. You got to get serious now.
Yeah, I'm talking about turning 40. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about having a midlife crisis. I'm talking about all sorts of
Are you having a midlife crisis?
I think I am, yeah, absolutely.
How is that playing itself out?
Not well, not well. No, it's scary. It's a scary thing, you know. You know, having had cancer, I mean, that has had a huge impact on my life. You know, both physically and mentally. You know, mentally in a good way. Physically, it's been tough. You know, dealing with surgeries and all this kind of thing. But you know, it makes you also confront your mortality in a much different way when you have literally faced death. You know, you know, at an early age, you start to think, wow, you know, our body's fragile. We could go at any time.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, that's good because you say, oh, well, I better enjoy the moment. But in a lot of ways, it's bad because you're saying, well, this could be my last moment, you know. So I better, you know, you're having fun and panicking at the same time, you know, which was not what I felt like before. You felt very much invincible before that happened, you know. Yeah. So.
And I didn't know that when you come to the midpoint in your life anyway, that there's a certain amount of disillusion that comes with that. And the disillusion is that all the things that you thought defined success and that could fill you up has been defined by other people and not so much by yourself, if that makes any sense.
Makes all the sense to me.
And so then you have to stop. Then you're there. You're right at the middle part of your life. So then you have to think, okay, Viola, really, what would make you happy? And that's really frightening because the things that could make you happy may not look good to other people.
Mm-hmm.
I discovered art as a therapy. And I started painting, and instead of going down in a deep depression or, you know, relying on any kind of medication or drinks or anything like that, or even psychotherapy, I painted my way out of my troubles. And the next thing I knew is now, at 55, I make more of a living painting than I do acting.
Seymour designs and sells limited edition handbags based on her paintings.
And I did this originally for Women's Heart Health Initiative, the Women in the Red Dress campaign.
but it also epitomizes, it's actually me on the beach, epitomizes life, you know, the turbulence of the waves, which is life crashing and cycling and recycling, and kind of looking forward to the future, but being firmly entrenched with the past.
I know how I do it because it matters to me to try to stay in concordance with my own journey. I get up every morning at 4:30 in the morning and I meditate for about 45 minutes, and then I follow that up with about an hour of yoga to try to keep my body from being a distraction in my life. And then because cardio is important, I go running for a couple miles, and then throughout the day I make a point to only eat things that are nourishing and healthy for me in very small amounts, and I spend the rest of my afternoon in my many charitable pursuits. Are you buying? You're not buying this. I was like, how far am I going to go before they start laughing? Like, you don't actually think I don't do any of that stuff. I don't do any, I hope you do. You should, you know. Taking notes, like, I have to get up at 4:30 in the morning and jog my mom, and, you know, like, make it even worse. No, I do get up at 4:30 in the morning, but it is just to pee and go back to bed. But I don't think that is the way, you know? I don't think that, like, more rigor is the way. I'll tell you what my daily schedule actually is, because it's probably precisely exactly like every single one of yours. I get up every single day and I do my best with that day. I do my best with what I have there. And sometimes I fall very short of my aspirations for myself, for what I wish I could be or accomplish. And I'm sorry to say this, and I suspect that it might sound familiar to some of you. I am sometimes very, very, very hard on myself when I fall short of those aspirations and who I thought that I was supposed to be that day or in this lifetime. And I can say things to myself that are so evil. I wouldn't say those things to a mugger, you know? Like, there are ways that I can talk to myself that are so nasty and demeaning, you almost wouldn't believe it, especially in what the Australian poet Les Murray calls the 3 o'clock in the morning show, you know, where you wake up in the middle of the night and start running through your failings and wishing that you'd done. I mean, I know none of you have ever done that, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it, that it happens to people sometimes. And I feel like what I want to send you away with today, I know that you've been given ample inspiration and motivation to go out and do extraordinary things. And looking out on you, I am not fearful that you won't try to do extraordinary things. I am not fearful that you aren't extraordinary people, that you're not generous and ambitious and smart and all these things. I fear only one thing, and that is that you are perhaps not often extremely kind to yourself. And I think that this age in which we live requires that more than ever, and especially for women. It is the one prayer that I have to offer to you. If there is a secret to the Sudoku puzzle at this moment in history for people like us, and there have never been people like us before, then I think that secret has something to do with acting in a spirit of unconditional self-friendship. Your true life begins and everything becomes possible the day that you drop the knife that you have been holding to your own throat. And I would ask all of you, whatever shame and blame and fear that you, and remorse and regret, and the I should have had the scampy blues that you might be carrying with you or that might be holding you back, we have to let go of it. There is indeed no time for it. And I do think that it's the only way to get through the maze and to find your way. So I just wanted to impart that on you. You are all beautiful. Be very, very gentle with yourselves today and from this day forward, and everything is going to be fine. Thank you.